now take a closer look at Supermicro ahead of its business update. It's coming later today, where it's possible we don't see any second quarter results from the company. Joining us now to discuss is Matt Tuttle, CEO and CIO, Tuttle Capital Management. Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. First up, let's talk about what you're expecting to hear from Supermicro, or what you're looking to hear from Supermicro today.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm looking to hear is obviously an update on the required filings. I mean, that's really important. Would also like to hear some guidance for 2025. You know, the AI server market that they're in right now is getting more and more competitive. So, you know, I'd like to hear more about that, how they're dealing with those issues. But, you know, the filings are number one. What's going on there?
Let me ask you about that, because, you know, some of this started with, I mean, Hindenburg doesn't exist anymore, but they had accused Supermicro of essentially some funny math and some accounting manipulation. Supermicro had fired back saying this wasn't true, that report that they had done, that short report, was that it had, quote, false or inaccurate statements. How much credence do you give to the company's responses about what you see in terms of what they report today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when your auditors leave and you can't do your required filings, that's not a great thing. You know, the stock has come way, way, way off the lows. So, you know, it does look like the expectation is good news for today. And, you know, and that's what I'd expect. I mean, you know, I would be shocked if they come out and say, you know, hey, we're still, you know, not able to do these filings. We're still having issues. You know, my worry now more than anything, buying ahead of this, would be we get a buy on the rumor, yesterday's move, and, you know, today we get a sell on the fact.
So we know that Supermicro, in terms of its history, it settled with the SEC back in 2020 over some accounting irregularities back then. How does that influence perception around Supermicro now, from your point of view?
I mean, it certainly adds to the risk. You know, I own a lot of AI stocks. I don't own this one. I mean, I think, you know, the whole AI theme is a target-rich environment. And, you know, with the risk overhanging this stock and, you know, in the move that it's made off of the lows, you know, it's well off its highs, obviously. But I think there's some added risk here. Again, I think they're going to announce some good news today, but whether that's already priced in or not is the question, and why I wouldn't be buying ahead of this.
Do you think the stock is pricing in too much optimism, or is there, you know, kind of further room to grow from here, especially if the picture is better?
I mean, there is further room to grow. I mean, AI is the future. You know, they were the darling of the AI server market. I would like to hear what they have to say about how they're dealing with competition, you know, how they're dealing with the possibility of becoming commoditized. But, you know, if everything was good and maybe you got a little bit of a pullback, you know, that's the type of thing where I'd look at maybe trying to buy into it.
With regard to the AI server wave, what key metrics matter the most in terms of its growth trajectory, Matt?
So I don't know if it's metrics as much as, you know, give us your outlook. You know, how are you dealing with the competition? You know, I really want to hear some confidence from them that, yeah, you know, we got this. You know, whatever those numbers are remains to be seen. I just want to hear from confidence and, you know, in a plan to deal with this.
And then, given its relationships with key chip makers, like, you know, obviously we know that they've had partnerships with Nvidia in the past and other chip makers, how crucial is it to have those, or do you need to see more diversification?
I don't think I need to see more diversification. I mean, Nvidia is the 800-pound gorilla. You know, I'm fine with that. You know, again, I just worry more about competition than anything else. You know, AI is heating up. All aspects of AI are heating up. And, you know, just like we saw in the internet boom, you know, not everyone involved is a winner. You've got to execute. and the companies that execute in all layers of AI are going to be the winners. I want to hear how these guys are going to execute.
And you said you don't own Supermicro. Who do you like better, especially in the context of, there's some questions around its accounting. Who do you like better in this space, Matt?
So HPE is one we own in this space. I do like that better at the moment. But again, let's see what these guys have to say. And I'd love, if I were going to buy, I'd love for a dip, because this has moved massively over the past few days.
What's for HPE you would buy on the dip, or are you talking about Supermicro?
HPE I own. Supermicro, again, if news was good, I'd look to buy it on.
What level would you buy it at? Sorry, I missed that. You went out a little bit. What level would you buy Supermicro at?
I mean, I would just look for some sort of meaningful dip. I mean, this thing's moved like 20 points in a couple of weeks. I personally just don't like buying something after it's had that kind of move. I want to wait for some sort of meaningful pullback. This morning it's down a little over 3%. I'd want to see a little bit more than that for me to go into it.
Yeah, right now it is lower in the pre-market, but it's up massively year to date, up some more than 40% year to date. So we'll see if the math lines up with that when it releases its business update later today. Matt Tuttle, CEO of Tuttle Capital Management and CIO. Thanks a ton, Matt, for the insight on Supermicro.